At 18, the world feels like it's wide open, doesn't it? Everyone's asking, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to college? What would I change if I could go back and talk to my younger self? That's what today's adventure is all about. Was college really worth it? And I hope you're asking, why or why not, Dave? Hey. Thanks for coming by. I'm Dave. In today's adventure, I'm going back in time to talk to my younger self and revisit college. Was it worth it? Could I have skipped it? Did I pick the right area of study? Were there other benefits? What would I have done differently? First off, my history. I attended Eastern Michigan University for 2 years and then finished off at the University of Southern California with a major in film. Now, splitting college between two schools was a great choice because it helped balance the expense of my education across a public and private university, as well as diversifying my learning experience across the East and West Coasts. Let me start by referencing a real-life experience. I entered Michigan with a plan to transfer to USC after 2 years. Now, my faculty advisor there told me to forget USC. He said everybody wants to be the next Aaron Spelling, the producer of all those TV shows from Starsky and Hutch to 90210. And I responded that I was more interested in working in movies than TV anyway. The quick tour I had of their small facility paled in comparison to the gigantic Lucasfilm complex USC sported. But Mr. Professor continued to sell me on the fact that there would be many more opportunities if I stayed in Michigan. Then came the bucket of ice. He reminded me of how low the 1% acceptance rate of USC Film School is, and how it might be easier to win the lottery. He advised that I should spend my full 4 years there at EMU and forget my dream. But I had a plan. I was set on progressing to California no matter what. Should I have listened to him? Stick around. More on this story later on in the video. First, I want to start out with the positives of attending college, because there are quite a few. College is a place where I'm exposed to new ideas, cultures, and people. It's not just about textbooks. It's about learning how to think critically, how to communicate effectively, and challenge my own assumptions. At 20, I thought I knew everything, and I was only half right. Now, there are many careers, like doctors and engineers and teachers, that simply require a degree. College isn't optional for them. It's the foundation of your career. Now, I majored in film, so college in reality was very optional for me. Now, years later in the real world, I ended up working in information technology. And the tech world, the jobs I obtained, they may not have always required a degree, but the companies I worked for wouldn't have even looked at my resume without one. So good thing I had one, right? Now, I met professors, alumni, and peers who could have opened doors for me later in life. USC and other colleges brag about their alumni and network connections. And my classmates that I personally knew went on to win many top awards in the industry. Back to my story. I finished off at Eastern Michigan, and I did get accepted into USC Film School. So the very first day I walked into the film complex there, they were installing a new editing machine called the Editdroid. This was a $1 million editing system that Lucasfilms had invented and edited the Star Wars movies, Indiana Jones. Even TV series like Falcon Crest was using this new system. And here it was, available to USC students like me for no more than the cost of a regular class. Now, one of the students there helping to install the equipment turned to me and said, "Whoever gets certified in that Editdroid system will have a job for life. Instantly I knew exactly what class I was going to sign up for. I had barely walked into the door my first day on campus, and I was confident that my success in Hollywood was already sealed in stone. Yes, networking and contacts are an important benefit of college that I might not get anywhere else. And sure, I've joined all kinds of groups online, but the quality of these groups pale compared to my college experience. For example, I've been posting some YouTube videos like this one, which you've all noticed. And if you look at the quality of the ones posted when I started out versus now, there's a slight noticeable improvement. And some of that is due to those fellow college buds I've stayed in contact with, making comments to me on how to improve things. And a couple of them have won some pretty big awards. That's free advice that others might pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for. And college forced me to learn how to manage time, juggle responsibilities, and live independently while getting along with others. And these are skills that benefit me no matter what I do in life. Living on campus at an out-of-state school definitely gave me a life experience that helped me become more adaptable to almost any situation. And not to forget making memories. College was the time I made the most lifelong friends, laughed till it hurt, and discovered myself. Now for a reality check about the challenges, because there is a lot to consider. The cost. College is expensive. My senior year, when I looked at my fee bill and it was $15,000 for the year, I freaked out. But today, that same bill would be over $100,000. Thanks to scholarships, parents, and relatives, I graduated with a total student loan bill of $11,000. And my first job out of college paid $24,000, more than twice my total debt. Yet it still took me 10 years to pay off those student loans. Today, the average student has a debt of $34,000, and the first job only pays $36,000. My student loan payment was 5% of my income. Today, that would be 10%. Given my industry doesn't require a college degree, I might think twice about the debt I would want to incur. And not all degree types are equal. Not every degree translates into a good paying job. It's easy to end up in the field that doesn't justify the time and money I spend. So I need to choose a major wisely and do research. Today, for example, I work in IT, not film. And while 20 years ago those two industries seem unrelated, they've become quite intertwined lately. And consider this. If one has the opportunity to attend a specialized program like something at Harvard or Juilliard or USC Film School, which have very low acceptance rates, then perhaps the universe has chosen one to be in that place. How I was accepted into my college program is beyond my explanation. And I can tell you right now that 90% of everything I learned at school in the 1980s is obsolete today. I can learn all the technology I need on YouTube right here. But of course, those videos are all over the place with no structured format, no professional or peer feedback, and no hands-on human interaction. Given those factors, my college experience was probably worth $1 million to me. It was priceless, and I'd never trade it for anything. College isn't the only path. The world's changing. We have skilled trades, coding boot camps, entrepreneurships. There are so many ways to build a career without a degree. College is not the only route to success. And consider lost time, okay? 4 years or more is a long time. And if I'm not focused and in tune with my industry, those years can fly by without me really getting what I want. Meanwhile, someone else might be gaining real-world experience that could be mine. Great example is my real-life story. At USC Film School, I completed a number of editing classes, and I went on and got my certificate on the Editdroid. Soon I was all dressed up in my cap and gown and ready for graduation. In fact, I think it was that very day that someone rushed up to me saying, "Did you hear?" Did I hear what? Nothing good ever comes after those 3 words, right? They went on to inform me, Lucasfilms has discontinued the Editdroid system. I was dumbfounded. I felt like a creator who didn't know TikTok was getting turned off. What? Apparently, while I was spending time in college learning and getting certified in this editing machine of the future, another company had been producing a more cost-effective and efficient editing system that nearly everyone in Hollywood had bought into. So I had my certificate and my college degree, but far from any type of job guarantee. And today, most creators use free editing software that do way more than either the Editdroid or other systems of the 80s and 90s could even dream of doing. So how do I decide if college is right for me? Well, here's what I tell my 18-year-old self. Know thy way. Don't go to college just because it's expected. Ask myself why I want to go. Am I passionate about a career that requires a degree? Or what if I love the idea of diving into academia to learn? Great. But if I'm unsure, maybe not rush it. And consider alternatives. Take a gap year. Explore internships or learn a trade. There's no shame in taking the time to figure out what I want. In fact, that's smart. And while we're waiting, please be sure to click the subscribe button to this channel down here so we won't miss out on any future adventures. And back to point, weigh the cost. Think about the financial burden. Are there scholarships or community colleges that could save me money? Can I work part-time? Can I split my education between colleges with different cost factors or locations? And finally, talk to people. Reach out to older folks, teachers, mentors, people in fields that I'm curious about. Ask them how they got to where they are and what they recommend. And don't be dissuaded if their advice doesn't make sense to you, like that professor in Michigan who said I'd never get accepted at USC. There was no reason for him to try and talk me out of applying. Either way, accepted or not, I could have stayed there, right? But it doesn't hurt to ask. So just ask, and don't ever stop asking questions. That's how I learn. Sure, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. College can be an awesome opportunity, but it's not the only one. Be honest with myself, do my homework, and be brave enough to carve out my own way. Now, if you're considering college and watching this, know you've got time. Education isn't a race. It's a lifelong journey, and it can be obtained at a college, an internship, part-time job, or full-time career. We are all students in the university called life.